Hey guys, I've been talking all month about the importance of self-care and why we need to make sure we take time for ourselves. And honestly, I know you know all this, right? You know all how important it is to take care of ourselves. So today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 excuses I hear from parents, especially moms, and basically why we need to stop doing that. So I'm Catherine O'Brien at happywithbaby.com, and if you don't know me, maybe you're just stumbling across my page. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist here in Sacramento, California, and a wife and a mom of 2 school-age kids as of this Thursday. So today it's Tuesday, and my baby will be starting kindergarten on Thursday, which probably makes me need to make sure that I take some extra time for self-care. But anyways, so definitely I've been working with new and expecting parents for the last 8 years, and definitely it's no coincidence that my oldest is 9, because I really realized then how challenging having a baby can be on not only our relationships but definitely ourselves. So that's kind of how I started really focusing in this area. But now let's get to the excuses. Let's get to the good stuff, okay? So these are the top 5 excuses that I hear. The number 1 is, I don't have time. Now, believe me, I'm gonna go over here in a minute about all the reasons why these aren't good excuses anymore, okay? So number 1 is, I don't have time. Number 2 is, I don't have money. Number 3 is, I don't have anyone to watch my baby. I don't have, the baby's always around and I can't make time for this because the baby's always around. All right, and number 4 is just, I'm so tired. And then number 5 is, I have a hard time saying yes when all these people around me need me. Now, maybe people don't exactly tell me that word for word, but that's basically the gist of it, okay? So now I'm going to rebuttal. These are my rebuttals. I don't know how you say that. Is it rebut or rebut? Anyways, okay. This is not, maybe someone can give me an English lessons. But anyways, so these are my rebuttals to your excuses. And believe me, I've heard these all so many times before, and probably even in my own head several times. So number 1, in regards to not having enough time, you guys, we typically prioritize the rebuke. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for that. Okay, I knew it wasn't right, but I wasn't sure. Okay, so in regards to not having enough time, we typically prioritize the things that are important to us. And so typically most people have like 5 or 6 categories of priorities for themselves. So whether it's career, relationship, health, fitness, social, friendships, passions and hobbies and stuff like that. But then after having a baby, we typically only have room for about 3. And so for myself personally, my 3 have always been my family, relationships, and career. And I've definitely dabbled in some of the other ones like health and fitness. I've gone through periods in the last 9 years of when I'll join a new gym or do certain things and I'll go all gung-ho, and then that kind of falls out. Or like, I know if I'm eating right and working out, then usually I'm spending less time in my business. Like, something falls off if I'm adding another one in, and that's just kind of been the way it has. That's the way it's been for the last 9 years. Now, definitely as my children are getting older, and probably within this last year, I've definitely had more time for some of these other categories. And so that, definitely feels better. I feel a little bit more balanced out, and it's nice to have a little bit more time for myself. But I think now in retrospect, if I had listened to the tips that I gave last week about why we need self-care, I think we need to realize, and this is something I know I need to realize, is that the things that we've done before are not gonna look the same now. Like if you are that person that you train for a marathon or something, you spent miles and miles running, and so that takes a lot of time during the week, and now you have a baby and you're like can't even get out of the house. Like maybe you do a shorter workout, maybe you do like a HIIT workout, or you do a yoga flow class on YouTube, or you fit in some burpees and which are my least favorite, if you've ever done those, squats, push-ups, whatever, you know, while the baby's taking a nap. Like, you can fit the shorter things in, because it doesn't have to be like, yeah, those long workouts are great, but it can be the shorter, smaller ones. And maybe you do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, 10 minutes later. Like, those 30 minutes add up throughout the day. They're just not all at once, and you can kind of spread it out. So it doesn't have to be long. It just has to be, you have to get that in. You have to do the little things for yourself. Yeah, and the other point I wanted to make about that is, like, giving yourself grace and forgiveness for not being able to do it the way you used to. Those times are going to come again. Like, you will get more and more time. I definitely have way more time than I used to. My son, I would incorporate him in all my workouts in the early years, and now I go to the gym, and it's been summer, so I'll drop them at the childcare area where they seem to really like, because they have a lot of activities, and I go do my workout, and then I'll fit in like 30 minutes and answer emails or phone calls or whatever. And now it's like it's so different, right? It's like, so it'll all come back again. It's just knowing, like, okay, it's a little bit different now, and the things that you did before will come back again, and maybe it will even be different than before too. So, okay, so in regards to not having enough money, so my number 2 excuse is the one I hear a lot, and it's true, right? You have a baby, and there's so many more things that you have to pay for. So how do you balance that out? Because it doesn't, like I said last week, it doesn't have to be about the big fancy things that you pay for, like the big spa days and stuff like that. Like if you can't afford a gym membership right now, go out for a walk, go out in nature. Like, that's so important. Go for a hike or something. Nature is really good for your mood too, just an FYI there, in case you didn't know. So the movement and nature is really good, guys. So do that. You know, instead of pinning all the little circuit trainings off of Pinterest, maybe you start doing some of those, or you do, like I mentioned before, like a yoga flow class off of YouTube. And if you're saying, oh, but I don't work out good without friends or without people around, then call up your girlfriends or call up some friends, or put a post on Facebook, or if you're in some, you know, Facebook group, and say, like, hey, I'm gonna be doing this. If anyone wants to join me, meet up. Guys, I'm sure there's a mom or two that's like, oh yeah, that'd be great. Like, I want to get out of the house, and it'd be nice to meet up with somebody. So we all need that extra support. So that's just kind of like a win-win there. And then number 3 is in regards to not having one to watch the baby, like the baby's, you know, around crawling on you. Incorporate them into the stuff you do. Incorporate them into your workout. I feel like I'm talking a lot about working out today. Maybe that's what's on my mind. That's on my list of priorities right now. But like, incorporate them into the stuff that you're doing. Like, if you're doing a yoga class or you're working out, like, and they're crawling on you, well, that's just consider that extra toning. I know there's even workout classes where they do incorporate baby yoga, or baby like Groovaroo classes and things like that. So incorporate them into the stuff that you're doing, because again, they're watching you and they're modeling after you too, and they realize, like, oh, mom, because typically I'm talking to you, mom, you know, this is self-care. This is how mom has to make sure she gets in this stuff to take care of herself, right? Or if, like I mentioned last week, like if you're washing your face, like do it while the baby's taking a bath, or you're brushing their teeth and then you brush your teeth and they watch you do those things. Like, all those self-care tips are really, those self-care tasks are really important for you, but also for your baby to see that you are doing those things to take care of yourself. So, and a friend of mine recently sent me an Instagram post. She shared it with me, and in the post, the woman was talking about, like, it doesn't have to be this big thing. Like, I think oftentimes we're like, oh, we need to work out, and it's this big thing. I'm gonna start working out on Monday. I'm gonna start eating right on Monday. I'm gonna start, you know, getting more sleep, and we think we have to do all these things, and then we end up staying up too late on Sunday with our partner watching a movie, and then we don't get up in time to work out, and then we're too tired, so we just drink the coffee and we don't eat something, so then by lunch we're starving, and then it all goes downhill, and then we're like, okay, well, we'll start again next week. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It's like one thing at a time. Like, eat breakfast, you know? Do something for yourself that you would do maybe for someone else, like your child. Like, if you're making them breakfast, make yourself breakfast. Don't eat the cold or don't drink the cold coffee out of the microwave. Like, eat the fresh berries that you're feeding them. I know moms that we tend to do this. Like, we get all the fresh fruits and vegetables that we plan to puree for them, and then we don't eat them ourselves. Like, you can have some. I know there's plenty in there for you to eat some yourself. So before you puree them, set aside some for you too, and you can have the good stuff too, guys. All right. And then number 4, being too tired. Guys, sleep, rest, whatever you have to do, surrender to it. Sleep is always a priority. Even if you're like, I can't sleep, lay down and rest, because the dishes and the laundry and all the other chores are gonna wait for you. Believe me, they'll still be there when you wake up, unless you can get that support system in place to help you do the chores as well, and get some of that stuff done to take it off your plate so that you can get the extra rest you need, because right now you need it, especially when your baby's like under a year, under 18 months or whatever, and they are not sleeping good through the night, or they're having those sleep regressions or whatever. Get the sleep that you need. Get the rest that you need. Everything else will be there waiting for you. The time will come where you can do more working out. The time will come where you can make the fancier meals or whatever. Get the support you need so that you can get the extra rest you need. Because always important, guys. Sleep, rest if you need to. Don't feel guilty about it. And if you start to feel guilty, just listen to this again, and I will tell you, do not feel guilty. Rest and get the sleep that you need. It's so important. And then number 5, and saying yes to yourself because you're busy taking care of everybody else. You guys, this is such a doozy of a one, because I know I struggle with this still. Like, this is probably one of the things that really holds me back from doing the things that I want to do or need to do. And I think it's really about learning how to cut back in different ways in your life, and seeing what's important. And I think this goes back to the video I did the other week about, like, you know, we can't give if we are so depleted. And it's about the quality of time that we spend, not the quantity. So if you're so depleted and you're exhausted and you're not rested, and you can't keep giving. So reprioritize, see what you need, see what you can do for yourselves. And like I was just saying too, about, like, if you're making breakfast for your kids, make breakfast for yourself. If, you know, do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself so that you can continue to take care of your kids and be there for your partner and stuff like that. So if you need extra help from them, like, ask for it. So those are my 5 excuses that I hear a lot, that I give myself a lot too. And one of the things I just kind of wanted to add here at the end that I'll hear from moms typically, occasionally I'll have a dad that shares something similar, is they'll get up in the morning and they're getting the kids ready, or, you know, feeding the baby or whatever, and their husband or their partner is up, and he's shaved and he's washed his face and he's worked out and he's done all those things, and they're like, how did he get to do all those things and I can't even, like, get out the door and, you know, brush my teeth before I leave or whatever. You guys, because you're doing those things, right? Like, he doesn't have to ask you, because you just kind of start doing that. So this is where having good conversations and talking about, and both of you talking about what you need, and how to get these things done. So I think sometimes they kind of assume, like, well, it's taken care of, and you're not saying, like, no, it's not taken care of. Like, I need self-care time. I need to, you know, I want to work out. Like, I would love it if we could alternate days on who works out or who gets up with the baby so one of us can sleep in, and doing those things. So having those conversations and putting it on your calendar. I know I talked a few weeks back too about how to use your Google Calendar to make sure you're getting self-care, making sure you're getting time for making sure you're getting time for each other, and then plus all the other tasks that we have to do. So get those down, write those down, talk about it, and if you're struggling to talk about it, like, get some help. And you know, these are issues that I talk about all the time in my workshops. Because they're typical things that people struggle with. So have those conversations, get the support that you need, and if you're still struggling with excuses, I would love to hear what they are. So maybe we can rebuke, because I learned that's how you say it, rebuke what those excuses are. So yeah, so tell me what excuse that you've been telling yourself and how you can stop doing that, and I would love to hear it. So thanks, you guys. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.